Now, I'm going to have trouble with Hayley's surname. Say. Guglietta. Hayley, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, there's more than one submission here, but are they all being dealt with separately, or
No.
they're all together?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so we've got, I'm just telling the councillors, we've got the Avebury House Community Trust, the Richmond Community Garden, and then Hayley's got a personal submission of her own, but it's all coming together.
Do I start this? Someone do that.
Who's this young submitter?
Say your name.
I was saying, this is Leanne, you need to give her a wave.
Hi.
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 Hello everyone.
So, I'm going to start my clock because I'd like question time. So, kia ora, my name is Hayley Guglietta and I appreciate the time that you've given me today. I'm a 20-year resident of Richmond and I also run my business from Richmond. I'm on the trust board of Avebury House Trust and on the Richmond Community Garden. So the issues that I'm presenting to you today and the opportunities are very much a wider issue, and my issues with my being a resident and being in the community are very much the same, so that's why I've been easily been able to combine them.
Fantastic.
I'm supported today by Murray James, who is on the trust board of Avebury House, and also by Kathy Alden and young Jack, who are part of the Richmond Community Garden. Now, some of you may remember Kathy from 3 years ago, where her Mums and Bubs group came and advocated for the repair of the Avebury House paddling pool. So I'd like to take this opportunity to give you some feedback on that. This was the first summer that we had the pool back up and running, and it was a roaring success. We had families down there through the day, in the evenings. One day we turned up to garden and there was 3 birthday parties around the pool. It was a fabulous success. But the biggest result that we've had from that and from the work that we've been doing in the garden is the activity in the park has reduced the amount of tagging, the amount of vandalism that has been going on in the area. It was so bad at one stage, our tagging painty guy became a personal friend of the gardeners. He was there that often, and to be fair, we haven't seen him for months. So very, very good success. So this is a really difficult presentation for me to make because we have a very good relationship with our community board, the Hayley Central Pyramid Board. The community board has supported us to keep Avebury House running in times when we've had it closed and when the roadworks have prohibited access to the site. So we're really grateful for the support that we've received. And at a support level, Shapaya, Bruce Coleman and Dinah Saxon, among many other people at that office, support us. They're accessible and they help us with the things that we need to get achieved. So it makes me feel a little bit troubled to bring some of these issues to you today, but it's really important as a community that we deliver to you the wider issues that we've faced. They're not all council issues, they're post-earthquake issues, they're central government issues, but at the end of the day, it's going to fall on the council's lap to help us fix them. So, without further ado, I'd like to just run through the issues with you. So Richmond's, I'm going to talk about Richmond, Shirley, Darlington and Avonside, but I'll focus on Richmond start. Richmond is a relatively small suburb in size, and it's one of the oldest suburbs in Christchurch. However, it's packed with lots of things. We have about 3,000 houses and growing rapidly, 50 plus small to medium businesses, 1 government department, 1 national franchise, 10 schools, 7 NGOs and 4 parks. Now, any other suburb packed with that kind of activity close to a CBD anywhere else in the world, or in fact in this country, should be booming, and it's not. And there's quite a number of reasons why. The first issue we've got is we're split between Papanui Innes and Central Hagley Ferrymead. But we're also split in half to Christchurch East and Christchurch Central. This in itself creates a fragmentation that gets very little achieved for us. Everybody tries their best, but at times we get left out in the lurch. So if we add the layer of the residential red zone to these issues, we have lost a significant portion of our population. The immediate after effect of the residential red zone was the loss of Richmond School and Marion College, and also a number of key businesses. You might recognise this site. This is where Pico was briefly while their building was getting repaired. It is now being turned back to a derelict site, and this is not uncommon on Stanmore Road. Their landlords don't live in Christchurch, and they don't really care about the state of their buildings. No other business person would invest in this area if that's what they're looking at on a day-to-day basis. So the business tell me their numbers. We surveyed all the businesses in Richmond, and they have told me, the ones that were pre and post-earthquake, that they lost between 15 and 50% of their revenue. Now we can't get their numbers from them. We have to trust what they're saying. But if you look at a recent graph that we did for Avery House for our community board, you can see that the aftermath of the earthquakes on Avery House, the impact it had on our income, the amount of time it took us to recover from that, and you can see it's only been in the last year that we've actually got up to pre-earthquake numbers. So if that's a reflection of what's happening in Avery House, we have to trust what our businesses are saying to us about their losses. I know you don't want to hear about roading, so I'll be brief.
We do.
North Avon Road has been opened up 4 times in 5 years. Every time it's opened up, we lose another little business. So this residential rezoning and the changes to our area have caused a huge demographic shift in what we're seeing, and it's really hard for our organisations to understand who our demographics are and who we're delivering our events to and what services they need, because it has changed so much, and it hasn't just changed once, it's changed twice or 3 times. A good indicator of any area is your local pharmacy, and the pharmacist who's been there for 2 years said to me in the first year, he was saying to his staff, "Where are all the babies? Where are all the babies? There's no babies in this." And then this year he's like, "Where have all the babies come from? There's heaps of babies." Our cafe owner can't plan anything. One day it's busy, the next day it's not, and he doesn't understand if that's to do with the demographic or with the roading or what, so he can't plan for his business. So we've seen what we're seeing in our area is the red zone has got rid of all the single homeowners. We've got high density housing, which we want because the business is saying we want population, but we don't want this. This here is a Housing New Zealand development that's been put into Evelyn Cousins Drive on a 100-year-old tree-lined street next to a dark alleyway and a beautiful park. Housing New Zealand had no consultation with the local residents over this. However, to give them their dues, they have been consulting with us at Avery House as to how we can help these residents that are going into this building. When they said to us, "How can we help you?" we said, "Well, we're going to set up a men's shed. Can you help us to fund that?" Housing New Zealand said, "No, we have no money, but how can we help you?" Which is very disappointing given the structure that's gone in. This is Dudley Creek. I'm not going to say much about Dudley Creek. All I've got to say is it's 12 months over and $2.2 million over budget. You're all aware of this and the chaos it's causing for the residents around this particular build. The Shirley Community Centre is a big loss for our area. I'm not necessarily sure that putting a centre back there is the right option, but there's nowhere within our 4 suburbs that people can walk to have a meeting of 40 plus people. Now, surveying all the businesses, there's actually been a couple of businesses that have said they'd fill that gap, but there has been some really good ideas in the community about how it could be fulfilled, and this is where a good urban planner engaged with our community and our businesses and our people might be able to find a solution that may not cost a lot of money and may resolve the problem. Sorry, last road one. This is North Avon Road. Well, it's not actually, it's one of the arterial roads on North Avon Road. North Avon Road, as I mentioned before, has been opened 4 times. This final time was for a great project. It was for the beautification of the road, which we're all for. But why do it when every single arterial street on that road is closed because of the Dudley Creek project? It has caused nothing but chaos and is the straw that's breaking the camel's back for some of those small to medium businesses down that road. I live on Stanmore Road and I have witnessed a 4-car pile-up, 2 2-car pile-ups, and last week a car crashed into the power box outside my home and cut the power to the 8 flats next door to me. The people in the Richmond Village shops say there's at least one accident coming out of the car park every week. It is complete chaos and it should possibly have not happened, because what may occur is that you've got a beautiful North Haven Road but no shops on it to enjoy it because they have to close down. So the recent MOE decision to exclude Shirley, Avonside, Richmond and Darlington from the school zoning is
Outrageous.
Thank you. And it has caused our already quite angry and quite annoyed community to become very, very upset. This potentially could be another massive demographic shift for us all. It will probably impact on our house prices, and people have bought in this area to send their kids to the single-sex schools that they wanted them to go to. There was no consultation over this, and it was delivered in the paper, and it has become a big shock to our community.
Yeah, I read it in the paper too. I had no idea that they were going to announce that.
Yeah. So there's wider issues, and the other issue too is the traffic flow through our community. You know, this is going to impact on people going to schools, and again, impacting on the businesses that are already struggling. Finally, my final thing is the Northern Arterial route. We do not understand why we need to do landscaping on a route that is servicing the people from the Waimakariri district. Why can we not get the roading finished for the ratepayers of the Christchurch City Council first and then do the landscaping later? The other issue that potentially might affect our suburb with this arterial route is the traffic is now going to be diverted down Cranford Street, Madras Street and Barbados Street, taking further traffic away from Hills Road and Stanmore Road, depressing, as I've said before, an already depressed and frustrated ma and pa businesses that are just trying to make a living. So they're my issues. So how does the LTP relate to that? So I've had a look at the numbers for RADS, which is our 4 suburbs, and these are the allocations for the next 3 years. I've taken the liberty of taking out half of year 1 because it's the Dudley Creek project, and I think it should go to be allocated to St Albans Edgware because it's not of any benefit to our suburb. We all agree that it needs to be done because it needs to be done, but it's not benefiting us in any way. So what we're left with is the first year is the North Haven Road beautification, the second year is the Palms public transport upgrade, and the third year is the Avery Park playground. Now if we compare those numbers to some of the other suburbs in our ward, given the issues that I've just gone through with you, it is not equitable. Now some of these numbers are pretty high because they're big projects. Mount Pleasant covers probably 3 suburbs because it's a major roadway. Papanui also major roadway, and the Woolston numbers are because of the pool.
But the flavour's clear.
Yeah. So where to from here? What we'd like to see is these current works to be completed quickly and to a good standard. The downers have damaged roads around the Dudley Creek project that were repaired, and now they're full of potholes and in disarray. We really would like to see Chancellor Street, Warden Street and Nicholl Street back on the plan so that all of the roading in our district is taken care of. You've been allocated more money for road smoothing. Can you do us first, please? And combining the next two, we'd really love for a urban planner to come and meet with us, meet with our businesses, meet with our organisations and talk to us about how we can actually help these businesses get back on their feet. From the surveys that we've done of the businesses, we've actually pulled together a really good team who are keen to put together a RADS association of some description. So when that forms, we'd really love some support to do that. And finally, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank you for the support for these organisations and to let you know that these organisations are really strong and doing great work in our district. We work individually in our own projects, but as teams we work together. The Richmond Community Action Network meets at least once every 3 months, and that incorporates all of these organisations plus our schools and our community board and anyone else who's connected to our area, and together we are sharing information, putting events on for our community and doing really good work. Delta is closing their site down for the next 12 months to repair it, and we've all got together to give them space in our sites to help them through that build period.
Right.
So yes, please continue to support us.
Wow, thank you. So you shouldn't have to feel at all apologetic for making a presentation. It was very powerful, and I guess one of the things that's been sort of troubling me around the Shirley Community Centre is the very question that you've raised about the location and its lack of connection to the other side of the road and to the suburbs that you've talked about. So it's a really tricky one. But
it is a tricky one.
have you already started some ideas?
Yeah, I've had two quite key businesses in Richmond who are prepared to offer their space, but obviously not all the time, whilst this is looked at. So that's really great. And there's some suggestions that perhaps moving the service centre out of so that's one of the other issues. There's no service centre for us. The closest one is
the Palms.
Street or the Palms. So perhaps moving the service centre to give the Palms more space and incorporating some sort of venue into the service centre has been mooted is a good idea.
Yeah, the expansion of the Palms doesn't excite me, but but I understand what you're saying. Is this an opportunity to actually think through things in a slightly different way? But even that, would that be the right location if you're thinking about the accessibility and what you want to bring people to, or to make it within walking distance? Because that centre didn't sound, where it was, most people drove there, and a lot of people came from outside the Shirley area to use it because it was a great facility. So I think it's worthy of exploring. But that little shopping centre in Richmond, that's a hugely challenging area that I think needs some maybe regeneration planning thought given to it as well.
I think we need to understand that retail is a dying art, and that perhaps we shouldn't be allowing any more retail shops to be built in the area, so that we can focus on making the ones that are there good, and putting more people into this. We need more population.
Yeah.
So urban planning would do that. Yes.
Yep. Dion and Phil.
Thanks for the presentation. It was good, and also thank you to all the supporters behind you as well.
Today we've got people from Richmond, business
There's a lot
owners,
of them.
community members, mums who've got kids going to school. So yes.
No, it's great to sort of see the support, and obviously it sort of speaks volumes to the issues and also the opportunities that are present. One thing you did touch on, obviously, was with with the gardens as well, which is in the residential red zone, and the loss of population. But what are the other opportunities that you see with the residential red zone now, moving forward for the suburb?
So this week is the first year that the Richmond Community Garden has had in that project, and look what we've achieved. We've achieved a full garden, beds, a food forest, a native regeneration area. We've got a outdoor education space happening. We've got 80 hours a week of volunteer hours that we're clocking, and we donate food to Delta and the Central Mission twice a week. We have people walking through there now. There's lots of activity. So it's a really great example of what can be achieved in the red zone. My concern is that whatever activities we do end up putting in the red zone is again going to take traffic away from these central business areas that we've got if we don't find a connect between the two. And I have to say I'm very disappointed that the cycle walkway has been taken off the long-term plan as well. I didn't have time to put that in there, but I think that's a key and important investment that the city has to make to attract tourists and ecotourism into our city.
Phil?
Which?
Oh.
The Avon or Tucker?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's taken off. I think it's
Delayed.
It's
Delayed, sorry.
delayed.
Other work,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Phil?
Thank you for your submission. One of the issues you talked about was the potential depopulation and potentially made worse by the school zoning. Our council probably don't have the best connection at times, unfortunately, too, with the Minister of Education. But I'm just wondering if that is an issue which perhaps you might like your council to advocate to central government on your behalf.
Absolutely.
Around the...
Yeah, I don't think depopulation is the problem. The problem is the traffic flow for our businesses will be gone. So the parents bringing their kids to school and grabbing a coffee on the way, and that kind of activity will be gone when the schools move.
Okay.
So we would like to see it replaced. Well, I think our population is increasing rapidly in Richmond and the surrounding areas because of the high density housing that's going up, which is really great. But we need to find replacements for the loss of those two schools, and we need to find a solution for the people that have purchased in these suburbs to go to those schools. And so yes, it would be great.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yanni?
Thank you for your submission and for the work that you've been doing. Just two facilities that you didn't touch on with the Richmond Club and also the future of the current Shirley Boys site. Have you looked at those in terms of community? And what's your view on that?
So the Richmond Club I've spoken to, and they're very engaged with community. He didn't want to be mentioned today because he wants to get that build done, and he doesn't want to interrupt the consent process to get the build done. Sorry, Ricky. Because it's a really important build for our community, and it needs to happen, and he needs to be given help to get that in place, because I think that'll really help. The school issue, we've got some really fantastic people working on solutions to that, and what may occur at the Shirley Boys High site. So I think, again, if we were given an urban planner to engage with, then there'd be lots of people to get involved to find solutions for that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your submission. It was really worthwhile, and I think that some follow-up around the regeneration planning options that are around at the moment could actually find some solutions there. I had a question too about the garden, but because I just really would like to think that you could take over the park as well, but maybe we'll have an offline conversation about that. Excellent. Good. Yeah, well, but we can take it offline. I mean, thank you very much. It's a very powerful submission and much appreciated. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Cheers.